everybody. Welcome to On Demand. We're starting a little bit behind today. I was showing everybody on the Zoom how we actually had brand new chickens. They're so cute. I'm not going to bring them back up because, you know, they'll have to grow a little bit before they get to be on Demand. But I'm so excited to be with you guys today. So the theme of this week is big checks. The theme of this week is big checks. How many guys want a big check? Put a B. Put a B in the chat. Put a B in the chat. Who wants big checks? Put a B in the chat. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to share a couple things that are important. You got to do some work today. You guys ready to do some work today? So if you have a piece of paper and pen, it would help. If you have a piece of paper and pen. So you guys on social media, I'm going to be streaming for about 15 minutes. And then I am popping back to just the Zoom. So let me give you guys a new format. First of all, this connected to your big checks. You guys know I'm really transparent, right? Like, I'm crazy transparent. You'll know if I've got a beef with you, because I'm just gonna talk about it. You'll know if I think you're the cat's meow, because I'm gonna promote you, right? Like, you're gonna know, you always know where you stand with me. And I will say, there's, backstory real quick, I used to be so offended that I could read an email and be mad. Like, I'm not kidding you. I had a great mentor in real estate. She owned the company. I don't think she even knows how much of a difference she made for me. But she was one of those people who stood by me, and she didn't commiserate with me or talk to me about, I have a fly, and talk to me. She didn't talk to me about how I was right, about like Stephanie was rude to me or Stephanie did this, or you know what I mean? She never commiserated with me because she was too classy for that. And it's not that I wasn't classy, I just wasn't acting classy a lot of my life, because I would read an email, and I'm not kidding you, I would read it in a tone in my voice. How many guys know you have a tone in your voice, right? Put a T if you know you got a tone in your voice, or a tone in your head. There's like a tone to your voice in your head. So I would read emails, and I'm not kidding you, the tone would just make I just thought everybody was out to hurt me, everybody, you know what I mean? Like, and I had a partner at the time in real estate, and I felt like she was always trying to undermine me. Can I tell you, she never ever tried to undermine me once. And I want to say that, like, her name's Michelle, I want to say, like, that woman had so much grace and so much class, and my boss at the time had so much grace and so much class, that even though I was a hot mess in my head, right? They still stood next to me and helped me see that I was being deceived. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? And so they would ask me to go back and reread emails. And they would say things like, Shanda, I didn't read that email like that. Go back and reread your email. And I go back and reread my email, and I felt like I was in this like trap of offense. Some of you guys are offended by somebody right now. You had an offense this morning take over, right? There's one thing not tolerating, right? There's one thing not tolerating, you know, poor, I don't know what the word is, like, you know, a poor standard from somebody in your life. It's one thing not tolerating it and saying, listen, I'm picking on Stephanie today, but it's like, Stephanie, I love working with you, but, or let me pick on my husband. You guys know I pick on Ash a little bit, right? He picks on me too, okay? But we have a great relationship. I said to Ash this morning, I do something called priority focus time, right? Priority focus time. And it's wild to me how often I've taught this, and that this is actually not the topic of today, but how often I've taught this, and still, whether it's a team member at Heartcore or you on the On Demand or somebody watching us on Instagram or Facebook right now, it's like you know that you're spinning or you're overwhelmed or you're offended, which usually you're offended because there's pressure, right? I mean, I give it, there are some people who walk around who are offended just because they got a lot of trauma. And I have empathy for that because I was there. Read emails and felt offended. And they were not the way people were speaking to me. But then there's offended, like somebody questions you on something or raises you to a higher standard, and you're like, no, I'm gonna fight with the fact that I'm gonna stay here. and you're wrong and I'm right. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Like, it just has, at some point you have to throw in the flag and go, you know what, this isn't working for me. I need to change. I need to evolve through this. So priority focus time is something that I'm really big at, and I do it from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So this morning I got up at 4 a.m. and I woke Ash up because he has a 4 a.m. wake time, and he went and proceeded to do his morning routine, and I went and proceeded to be a woman. So I cleaned the chicken pen. I was like, I can't have the chickens like have poop. I got to clean that. Like, I can't stand that they're sitting in it. So I had to go clean it. So I clean it, right? How many of you guys women know what I'm talking about? We see everything, right? And then I'm puttering around the house. And then at about 5:30, I sit down and I start doing a little bit of reading. And then I see my husband, he's reading, and I'm like, oh, maybe he needs the light a little bit more over top of him so he has better light. And so basically my whole morning was basically me being like a housewife and not meaning to have that job, but playing that role, right? And so I want to ask you, what role are you playing, and does this role equal the cash injection that you want? This is going to be, for some people, in a confronting training. And you can't keep lying to yourself about it's hard to make money, because it's not. What I have found is if I'm a solo entrepreneur, I make a lot of money. If I have a very lean team, I make a lot of money. As I grow my team, it starts to bleed, which means I have to make a lot more money. Does that make sense, you guys? And I've seen it in bigger corporations. This is why leadership is everything. That's why the scriptures say make sure you marry somebody that is evenly yoked, because it's the most important relationship you're going to have, right? And you want it to help you, not pull you, okay? Whole nother conversation. So does your role equal the cash injection that you want? Okay, now let me go back to priority focus time. Priority focus time is 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. 4 a.m. I get up, and basically I waste most of it until about 6 a.m. At about 6 a.m. I start to panic because my son is going to be getting up soon. And I feel like I've gotten nothing done. Even though priority focus time really starts at 7 to 9, my office is still being done, right? It's still in process. It's almost done, but the floors are getting done this weekend. So I don't really have anywhere to go. I have here, right, which is the theater room that I've transferred into my makeshift office right now. But I can see my son right there, and at any given time, he could walk straight over here and come in, right? So now what do you think happens when I'm doing priority focus time and he doesn't see me on a video? So Zach proceeded to get up, and Zach decided he was going to make mommy some eggs. I never want to miss these moments, right? And he decides he's going to make eggs. So if some of you guys look on social media, on Instagram, you will see he made me some eggs this morning. My husband makes a decision that he's going down to the shooting range. Why he has to go to the shooting range. Guys, really? Right? So there's that. Making me some breakfast this morning. So he made me breakfast. Okay, so very sweet, love it. First time my son has actually made me breakfast, so I thought that was really sweet. Now 7 a.m. is hit, and I've got meetings starting at 9 a.m. 7 a.m. is hit, 8 a.m. is hit. I had breakfast at 8. That's when breakfast got delivered to me. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, my day's gone. And it is, because I'm on content with you. How many of you guys have a life like this? Some version of it. It's like you get up and it just slides, right? It just slides, right? I know it's not a me thing. It's a life thing, which is why I go back to this. My priority focus this morning, okay, was literally, I needed to do morning pocket coaching. I needed to do SOD emails for coming up, topics that are coming up here. And I needed to do second quarter KPIs. Okay, so I got 3 emails written. Okay, between 4 a.m. and 9 a.m., I got 3 emails written. Okay, that's a lot of time. I just want to let y'all know that's how ineffective we are with the majority of our day. Are you guys hearing me right now? 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 5 hours. That is almost a full day of work. And I produced 3 emails. Okay, so 3 emails are not going to create the cash injection I want, especially the ones I wrote, because they were for you. Okay, they were not for creating cash. They were not for doing anything. That's not what they were doing. They were actually for you with love, right? It was like, it was actually thinking through your curriculum. And I think through your curriculum as I design it, and then I write emails with it. And does that make sense? And it kind of helps me process for you. And so the role that I played today was the role of an employee. Now, by the way, there's nothing wrong with an employee because they make you money. So I don't mean it like that. And when I was an employee, I loved the paycheck and I used that paycheck to invest. So this is not a condescending question. It's a role. So the role I played this morning had a paycheck. And that paycheck has a cap. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know every single one of you deserves a lot of money. I know that. I know that the fact that you made it on this earth, that you are valuable AF, right? You're massively valuable. I know that. But that doesn't mean that you get it. That's entitlement. We must create a certain amount of value, and that is measured by whoever buys from you. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes? Okay. So my husband, during priority focus time, decides to go bye-bye at 8 a.m. Okay, let's go to the next piece. And he goes down to the shooting range or something like that. Okay, so he's following like whatever his instincts and prompts are, and he's like, I gotta go, I'm gonna be gone all day. I was like, what? Okay. Now, I won't go into the husband-wife moment in front of the house. I'll tell you, I was a good girl, I was not mean, okay? But I was like, this doesn't work for me, right? Because now that you leave, I got 1 hour priority focus time, and I'm gonna be standing by the stove watching Zach cook breakfast. And then I got a meeting at 9, and then my day's gone. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna help. I hope this is gonna help. My day is done. Do you know what I mean, you guys? Like, it's done. It's done. And I got karate with Zach at 7 our time here. So I'm basically, like many of you guys know, I'm basically done at 8 p.m. tonight when it comes to mommy time afterwards, and I'm gonna crawl in bed, and I know I'm not speaking to the choir, I know you get it. Okay, so you're gonna hear me talk about this throughout the year, but I'm gonna be really clear with you. You will drive yourself into the ground if you don't have enough self-worth to make sure the day I just had is a rare occasion. Okay, it is a rare occasion. And that's exactly what Ash said to me this morning. He goes, this is not a normal situation. I'm sorry that you're gonna have to cut your priority focus time short. He goes, but I really feel called to do this, and I never do this to you, Shanda. And I was like, you're right. That's why there wasn't a blow-up fight between husband and wife, right? It's not something that he would do on a normal basis because he respects that he knows that this time every day, everybody knows that this time every day, I am focused on priority time. And my priority time, and yours is as well, actually, I'll just put it here. So I want you to take a pen and paper. I did this with a group yesterday. So I had a group of people who came here, to Puerto Rico, and they had a group VIP day with me. And I will tell you that one girl, she 4X'd her quarterly revenue. 4X'd it. And that's not a joke, that's not a possibility, it's a for sure. Because when you know what to put in priority focus, how many of you guys would love me to do a workshop on what to put in priority focus time? Let me know. Tell me why. Because that would actually help me create content for you around it. Why do you want to know what to put into priority focus? For structure, for streamline clarity, structure, focused on cash producing items, clarity, because I want to know what's most important, structure, clarity, how to organize my mind, how to grow to the next level, scaling, all the above, prioritizing priorities, okay, structure, milestone achievements, okay, remove the guesswork, okay. So just so you know what you wrote, like if you can have, you guys know I push on getting email lists and text message lists, right? Like the reason, you guys being here make it almost impossible for me to fail. You know why? Because if I get a thought just like you do, if I get a download, right? And I'm like, I wonder if this would be valuable for them. I wonder if David would really appreciate it if I literally designed a priority focus session, right? And it's like, so then I have a thought. Now if I go out into the blind world and I create a product around it, I have to guess, and so do you, on how to sell that. Because I and you guys, where you're at on the things that you've figured out in your life, how to parent, how to have a good marriage, how to get through grief and trauma, how to get in shape, you get what I'm saying? Like the things you guys have figured out, you're standing in a very different place than when you were struggling, that you created that figure-outable moment. Does that make sense? You guys get what I'm saying? Like, and so you're so far past the moment that you speak about it differently. Okay, so if I took your guys' comments and I put it onto a Word doc, I could take all these highlighters and I guarantee, I already saw the word priorities a lot, right? I saw the word structure a lot. Okay, so if I use those words on a sales page or an email or an Instagram post or a YouTube headline or whatever, do you think that I would get engagement? Yes. How well do you think if I sat in my house and I was like, feel so inspired to do this? It's gonna take months for me to figure out how to really sell it if I didn't have an audience to ask. Does that make sense? And I sat on a call with a long-term client this morning, and my heart broke for them. Because business was easy to build, and now it's getting tougher. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. There's gonna be a window right now. We're already in it, we've been in it for last year. That literally things are a little bit tougher, you have to be good. And I've told this client over and over and over again to list build. And they've done a couple of them over the last 10 years. And they've made millions and millions of dollars. But they've pretty much enrolled all they're gonna enroll from the list. So they either have to do one of two things, come up with a new product, which they could ask, or list build. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes? When I look at priority focus time, I'm gonna ask you right now to write down, what are you frustrated about right now? Write it down. Literally, and it's great if you even put it in the chat. What are you frustrated about right now? Disorganization, my income, my health. What about your health? getting out of my head, qualified leads, booking and show up for enrollment calls, fear of going all in, can't seem to earn any money. You can earn money. Not monetizing my income, time that isn't mine, not delegating tasks, autoimmune challenge with energy level. Okay, now watch me here for a second. Are you guys all clear what you're frustrated with right now? Like the thing that just, it's pulling your energy, right? Like the thing I have something I'm frustrated about. I mean, I have a couple things I'm frustrated about because I'm human just like you. And the things that I'm frustrated about literally cause you to lose sleep. Or if they don't cause you to lose sleep, they cause you to not be the nicest version of you. Am I right? I know everybody like to pretend like they'd never be grumpy like you if they were under pressure, but that's not true, right? Like when you're under pressure, everybody operates a certain way, but it's not our best way, right? Okay, so priority focus time is either about eliminating frustration or it's about creating something you're really excited about. So it's either about creating or eliminating. And you toggle between these two things. So creating might be, for the month of April, I'm going to be literally running with you guys on showing you how to take action, how to develop revenue to pay for now, but also to create a future check. Okay, and so I'm literally designing that content right now. I'm designing the whole month right now. And so that's creating, I'm really excited about. I've never put action, revenue, and like artificial intelligence and, you know, investments and just like what you invest your time and energy in. I've never put that all together in content. I've separated it out, but I've never put it all together. And so that's creating. I'm very, very excited and I'm really curious to see what explosions happen in the month of April. Okay, now frustrating. It's hard to create when this is stronger than this. So when you have, usually there's some frustration, right? If you're growing, there's going to be some. But when there's a massive something in your life that is really frustrating, you might think you need to go create stuff to generate income or to whatever in your business. It almost never works. It almost never works. Why? Because you're not operating on a full like gas tank. You're operating from a place of irritation, frustration. You guys would know, like if my frustration was so, you would know. You would know. Because you would feel it. Right? There was a guy, it was probably a year and a half ago, he was noticing my posts and he messaged me, he said, "Are you okay?" And I wasn't okay. I was so frustrated about something. And he goes, "This just doesn't seem to be your character. Are you okay?" And I was like, "Thanks for asking." And I was like, "Really, I'm battling with this one thorn in my life." And he's like, "I'm going to pray for you." I was like, "Thank you." But just somebody allowing me to say it unleashed it. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? And then I was able to go work on it. I didn't even realize how much it was bothering me, but it was bothering me. Do you know what I'm saying? And so be the type of leader that you help people versus judge people. Because we don't need any more judging. We need people to actually just notice when there's some pain that's causing frustration that's getting us out of the creating. So you guys on social, I'm going to give you some homework. I really recommend that everybody put an hour to 2 hours on your calendar right now tomorrow. It's your priority focus time. Ask yourself, what is frustrating you or what do you need to create? Do not, I know the temptation is to go create something instead of deal with the frustration. I wouldn't do that. So here's a great example. Say I had an autoimmune disease. There is somebody that knows how to fix you. I have 3 bulging discs in my back. If you threw me through an MRI, any doctor on here would tell you that I need back surgery. Okay, they would absolutely tell you that. I couldn't walk for months. I was very, very, very much in pain. I cried every single day. I still did my lives, funny enough, and I kept saying to my clients, I kept saying, I can't wait to see what my success story is going to be. And that was the thing that I call it Joel Osteening myself. I just kept like, I'm just going to speak that this is coming through. And I was like, I can't wait to see what my success story is going to be. I can't wait to see, because it was hard. And I knew when I walked through something hard, something really great, like beyond belief, was going to explode out of my life. And although it was physical and I'd never dealt with anything health-wise before, it was scary, right? Because it didn't feel like I could go do something. It felt like I was stuck with this thing called bulging disc that everybody kept telling me was just a reality and I was gonna have to have surgery. I refused to have surgery. I kept saying, I know there's a doctor, I know there's a doctor, I know there's a doctor. If I was using priority focus time and I had 2 hours in that priority focus time, I would sit there and I would spend 2 hours looking through my phone. You realize that half the time it's coming in an area that you haven't thought of yet. So my first inclination would be to go to Google or Facebook or Instagram or Threads or YouTube and find somebody to heal back pain at the time. And I'm sure I did all of that, right? And it led me to where it led me, but I was still stuck. I was still sitting in the fact that I had realistic back pain. Mark Victor Hansen from Chicken Soup for the Soul sent me to 2 of the best doctors. Somebody else sent me to one of the other best doctors. Like, I wasn't going to slumps. I was going to the best of the best of the best. And they all said the same thing. You need back surgery. And I kept saying, I know that there's somebody who can heal me. Sure enough, I got a book in the mail from my mastermind, and I learned about a guy who wrote a book called The Great Pain Deception. I searched and I found him on LinkedIn. I did a Zoom session with him. It was called Knowledge Therapy. It was the most frustrating thing I could ever imagine because they don't tell you to do anything. You just talk. I'm talking. And the next day my back released. He told me to go for a run. He said, it's going to feel like there is a knife going through your spine. Keep running. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm being California woo-woo. Like, this is way too woo-woo for me. But I did it because I'm coachable. And I always do the things my coach tells me to do, even if I don't want to do it or I don't understand it. Okay, if I give you my trust, I'm going to take your coaching, right? And so I ran by the first, second step. It felt like there was knives going in my spine. And by the third, fourth, or fifth step, it released. It's never come back. I have bulging discs and I have no pain. Okay, so how does that stuff happen? I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know the answer to that. But what I do know is somebody knows how to fix you. Somebody knows how to help you. Somebody knows how to generate money. Somebody knows how to heal an autoimmune. Somebody knows how to get you pregnant. Somebody knows how to get you rich. Somebody knows how to get you your spouse to get on the same page with you. Somebody knows, you know what I mean? Like your plantar fasciitis or whatever it's called with your foot. Like my husband couldn't walk when we moved to Puerto Rico. Like, I know there's somebody. And I kept saying that to him, and then he found somebody. He did a simple foot massage and it released. Okay, and he couldn't walk. My mom got it when we were around. He showed her, it released. My stepmom just got it. She's in bed for 3 days, hasn't been able to get up. He got on video and showed her this foot massage and it releases. So I share this with you because I know there's what they all say. I know there's what your bank account says. I know there's what your accountant says. I know there's what your spouse says. I know there's what your head says. I know there's what the voice in your head and the tone says. I get it. I got it all, right? And then I know that it's impossible for a solution not to be had. Here's why things are not coming together for you fast enough. You have not designated any time slot for you to work on the one thing that's taking you out or the one thing that's rising you up. When things take too long to happen, it's because you're not tempoing. It means that you're not, when people tell you, be obsessed, you're like, okay, I'll be obsessed. But like you're not. Because you think about it randomly throughout the day. And when things get bad enough, you put your attention on it because it gets your attention. But then you go back and the frustration lingers and then the tension releases a bit and you're back in the monotony of a life that you don't necessarily want to be living. It's not a 10 out of 10. and you want it to be a 10 out of 10. How many of you guys want a 10 out of 10 relationship? A 10 out of 10 relationship with your body, a 10 out of 10 relationship with your spouse, a 10 out of 10 relationship with your money, 10 out of 10 relationship with your friends. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors online. And I refuse to give that to you. When I lost a boatload of money, I told y'all, right? Like I'm not going to sit up here and feed you guys content that is a waste of your time. I'm not going to entertain you with some booty dance on Instagram, because that's not my role. Okay, it's not my role. And it doesn't take care of the cash injection that I want for my family, the cash injection that I want to transfer to you, the cash injection that, I don't know, my retirement looks like, the cash injection that my church wants me to have, so I tithe. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's too many people who get helped here, right? The more things I figure out, the more I share with you. You're the exact same way. So I want you to identify what you spend your time with. So the next 24 hours, I want you to keep a list of all the things you do, starting now. I want you to grab a piece of paper. We're going to deal with it tomorrow. I want you to track what you do every hour. Like, I'm not joking. Be here tomorrow. Track what you do every hour. You guys willing to do that? Put yes in the chat if you are. Don't pretend like, I don't, like, just do it. Just trust me enough to be coachable, and let's see what it looks like tomorrow. Okay, so I want you to track every hour that you're up. I want a little piece of paper or a book to be walking around with you all day. And currently it's almost 1 o'clock in Puerto Rico. So I would put, for the last, 40 minutes, I've been doing SOD, Shand on Demand, right? And when I shift, I would put, I don't know, I'm cleaning the chicken coop, or I'm, let me tell you, I got enough clean chicken coops in, I'm hiring somebody. Do you know what I mean? Because how much is the chicken coop costing me? A lot. Okay, but I can't help cleaning the chicken coop, because if the chicken coop is messy, I feel bad for the chickens. So what do? Stop feeling empathy? Well, no, if I stop feeling empathy, then my marketing's gonna go, then my coaching's gonna go. I don't want to close my heart. I want to solve the problem. So before we figure out what the problems are, I can show you how to have a big check this week. Okay, I could probably have you in a position, if you're coachable, that you could create that by Wednesday. Okay, and so can you do your part between today and tomorrow and track everything you do in like every hour? Okay, so like track it and write it down. Got it? Last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to recommend that you put at least an hour on the books tomorrow for priority focus time. Most people can't handle more than an hour because you'll spin and you'll have a morning like I had today. Okay, because if there's too much time for you, you won't be urgent enough. So let's try an hour. And even if you have a full-time job, you can dedicate an hour to yourself. Like, do not tell me you can be a great mom, a great dad, a great sister, a great business owner. If you can't dedicate an hour to yourself, you have absolutely no right thinking that you're good at any of those roles. Okay, you don't raise children and tell them to prioritize themselves less. That's not right. I know I'm being tough, but I'm being for real. It's not even that you have nothing left. It's so ineffective, and it's such the wrong role model to give anybody. Okay, entrepreneurship does not need to be 14-hour days, 7 days a week. It just doesn't. Now, there's seasons you might do that because you're so fired up in creation, but if you're doing it because you're frustrated or scared, you're ineffective. Okay, because the frustration has to be handled in priority focus time. It can't keep building. And the reason why people are short of money, the reason why people don't solve problems, the reason why people work on things to death and never get the thing closed. I was in 2 CRM systems, and I am again. I was in two HubSpot and Keep for like a year and a half. I mean, are you effing kidding me? Make a decision and move. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's unbelievable to me, right? And literally, it's like somebody new comes in, it's like, we're making a decision now, right? By the end of today. That's what I'm talking about. Now, everybody has the ability to do that. Okay, so everybody has the ability to do that. Some of you guys are sitting in relationships that are not working. You want kids, they don't. What are you doing? oh, well, they might change their mind. No, no. You're being an ineffective leader, and you're not stewarding your life right. If you want children and they don't, have enough faith to know somebody does. And there is your perfect person out there, right? Like I would never tell my son to hang out with a woman that doesn't want kids if he wants kids. He told me the best day of his life is going to be when he becomes a dad. He said that to me. He said that to me at 5. Right? I was like, wow, you're really built to be a dad, huh? Right? Like it's like a thing. If he gave that up for a woman, that's not cool. Do you know what I mean? Like you resent moments like that. You guys hear what I'm saying? Don't resent your job. Don't resent money. Manage projects, don't manage yourself. Manage projects, don't manage your spouse. Manage projects, don't manage people. Are you guys hearing what I'm saying? So I'm going to ask you to create a week, a priority, or an hour priority focus time. You know what you need to focus on. I want you to put it on the calendar right now. Actually schedule it in. And I want you to write, what are you going to focus on? So if I had a frustration with my health, I'd write health, priority focus time. If I had a cash problem, I write cash, priority focus time. Okay, now you might want to start asking yourself, what would I do to create cash? I don't know, maybe you look at where you're spending your money. Are you spending on something that's investing in you getting smarter, or you getting better? Or are you investing it in a BMW when you're tight on money? Maybe you need to make a decision to sell the car. No, I love the car! Why don't you just get a really great Hyundai? No, I love my BMW! Okay. Well, then go generate. Let go of the frustration, go generate. Can you do that? Because if you can't, you're going to have to relieve the pressure. All right, you guys on social. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Track your time every hour. All right, you guys. Keith, you can say bye to social. I'll be back at 9 a.m. California time.